Hello everyone, it's Karen Burniston here to talk about our website KarenBurniston.com and all of our great wafer thin dies. So we are a die company. My specialty is designing pop-up cards. So we have a ton of cool dies on our website that will make really impressive pop-ups. And then we have all sorts of accessories and things to decorate them. So we are having a special. So this week from September 11th through the 18th on our website, KarenBurniston.com, we have automatically applied a 20% discount to all of the dies, this and more, in our fall/Halloween category. That does get taken off automatically. You do not need a code or coupon for that. Okay, so what I thought I would do in this presentation is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the dies that are in this category where the sale would apply. Then I'm going to make a project. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first up, let's talk about this tree. This tree is made using our original tree pop-up die. And what's nice about this die set is that the tree can be used flat. It can be used bare. If you want to quickly add foliage to the tree, it's all in a single piece, even though it looks like individual leaves. But then you also have some individual leaves when you do want to do leaves falling down off of the tree. It's got 2 different tire swings that come with that set as well. So very cool for the fronts of cards. It's a good decorator die, but it does include a simple little box platform for when you want to animate it away from the back wall. So that little platform comes with that die set. This is a cute little card by _𝐂𝐬𝐭𝐡 showing that tree. So see there where all that foliage behind it looks like individual leaves, but really it's a single piece. And then, quickly fills in your tree. So really good, very popular die set on the tree pop-up. And one thing I wanted to show is you can also kind of use it with other mechanisms. So again, the tree can be added to other pop-ups. Like here's an example of using the tree with the base of the palm tree so that it pops up like a flat pop-up versus a 90-degree pop-up. So, they play real nicely with each other. Here it is used flat on this card, but then also used as a decorator back behind here in the background of this card, that All Seasons tree. Then what you're seeing here in the front is another pop-up die that we did include in the sale, which is our house pivot panels. So I did a video where I showed this idea of doubling it. You can see it's put in there double on this one so that there's actually a row of, 10 houses instead of 6. But you can also do that just with a row of 6 houses. So here's a Halloween version of it. Of course, you can decorate those houses for anything. So that is in the sale as well, the house pivot panels. And then you're seeing some good Halloween decorator and fall decorator dies on these. See here where it says Welcome Autumn. Here's one by _𝐂𝐬𝐭𝐡 where she's used the house pivot panels. Again, she actually doubled it this way in the card using 2 of them and putting a lot of the Halloween dies with it. See those little spooky hands? So let's look at some of those decorator dies that are included in the sale. There's Halloween elements. See, there's those spooky hands. There's the word set 7 Autumn, which has all your Thanksgiving and blessings words. This is one of my favorite dies. This is the Autumn Elements. And boy, if you just need some good all-around leaves and pumpkins and acorns and apples and stuff for fall, Autumn Elements is a really great one. And then the Halloween charms. So the cool thing about charms is that you can dangle them. They have a little hole so that you can dangle your cute ghost and bats and things. But if you don't want to use them as charms, you can just cut those little holes off and just use them as standalone elements. So here's that same little ghost. Use some little hats and things from our tiny accessories instead of actually using them as charms. Okay, looking at how you can use some of our decorator dies for Halloween to decorate some of our other pop-ups. So here's a few cards by Sandy Diller. And let's start with this one where she's taken our castle pop-up and then she's used those Halloween dies to decorate it and make it into a spooky haunted castle. And then she did that again, but this time she used the castle, but instead of using the mechanism that comes with it, she did that thing where she swaps mechanisms and she used the one from the ice cream sundae. That way she gets a little motion to her ghosts peering out from behind the castle as the card opens. And again, is used like the spooky tree and the, elements from those Halloween sets. And then here's another one made by Sandy, this time using the Happy Halloween. That one's in our Halloween charm set. And then you also get those 4 charms. And on this one, she took our holiday house. Let's see, I've got that one here somewhere. Ooh, I don't know what I did with it. Put it in the stack. I know I put it in the stack because it's one of the ones that's in the, yeah, here it is. Okay, we have a holiday house, and obviously that's going to be really beautiful for holiday cards, but it also includes some boards so you can board up the doors and windows and stuff when you want to make it into a haunted holiday house. And so in this case, Sandy has used it as a haunted house and just made everything kind of crooked. Some of those same elements used in the background. Actually, that's the tree, the first tree we talked about. So you've got lots of choices of trees. We put trees and houses in the special, so you've got lots of choices on trees and houses. Okay, here's one by 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐭. She's used those Halloween charms. When you don't want them to be charms, you just take your scissors and cut off the little hole at the top, and then you can use them as standalone elements. You can see her cute little ghosts and bat and boo. And this one, she just used simple mini pops just to animate the Happy Halloween from that set. So cute little simple Halloween card by 𝐂𝐨𝐭. And then this one is one that I made. I used our flower pot pop-up, and instead of putting just flowers in it, I did put flowers in it, but they're cut out of black and stamped with spider webs. Then I also put some of those ghosties and spider and stuff from the Halloween charms in that card. Okay, this fence, ooh, this needs a little repair. Sorry. Well, okay. It's going to add to the element of it being, you know, decrepit for Halloween, I guess. This fence right here actually comes out of our house and fence set, but we did include that one in the special. So let me find that die in our set here. So that's kind of a good one that can be used year round for, you know, you can make a gingerbread house. You can make an anytime year round house, but then it also makes a really good haunted house. When you want to use it for that, but especially that little iron fence and stuff works really well on Halloween cards. You can see that here across the front of this one. And this one actually uses that same one that the floating floor came out of that house and fence, and then there's the fence. I actually used our family room pop-up on this one. There's a video for it. But I think one of my funnest things is that the boo is actually mounted on the back of the couch in reverse. See it? So that when you look in the mirror, it reads forward. Anyway, spooky tree from the Halloween scene, the little ghosties from the Halloween charms. You can see the ghost is even on TV here. So fun things you can do with those sets. Okay, I've been showing a lot of Halloween cards here, but of course you do have some elements that are for autumn. So we've put the feathered animals into the sale because it does have that cute turkey. Now that turkey looks like, well, let me pop this one open. You can see what it looks like. That. And on this one, I've actually used our parcel pop-up to make a magic card using our feathered animals. But then also those, remember I talked about the those autumn elements are just a great little set. This one here. So really good one for all of your fall cards and stuff. And you can see the autumn elements used abundantly on this card here, Welcome Autumn. So that's word set 7, which is in the sale, word set 7. And then you can see this one's got a clear front, and when you open it, oops, if you kind of look here, you can see that the scene kind of changes, and the little turkey pops out, and pumpkins, and you can see different pumpkins in the opening. So there's a video on that one too. And that one's using our pop and swap is the mechanism on that. So not all the mechanisms that you're seeing here are in the sale, but I'm showing the cards anyway because they have a lot of really cool accessory pieces that are in the sale. Okay, newer dies that are in the sale. Let's talk about last release. We had the tiny house pop-up, and then now there is a new haunted tiny house add-on. So that's an add-on set. It adds on these pieces to turn your tiny house, this one, into a haunted house. So let's take a look at that. It includes all of the the different windows and shutters and ghost and boards and the bat and the spider web and the little jack-o'-lantern and the crooked fence. The tree and the moon came from a different set. Happy Halloween, that's a new die, and that is in the sale, so you can get 20% off that one as well. It's a nice die because the Happy Halloween can be used on its own, but it also includes a shadow, so you can put those together. Make great shadowed words. We included the tiny trees in the sale because that's another one that you would be able to really do some fun fall and Halloween spooky trees and stuff with it. I don't know that I have a sample of it decorated specifically that way, but let's see if I can find just a tree card. Okay, so that's another one where you can use the tree flat if you want. And then it pops up like this, and it has this cool fold splitter so that you can get 2 trees in a card, or 4 trees if you've got room for it. Do I have one with 4? Here's one with 4. Okay, so, well, here's a good example. There's a fall, that tree decorated for fall right back there. So you get all those little pieces for all the different seasons. So tiny trees, that one is in the sale. Tiny trees pop-up. And then from our brand spanking new release, well, these two were from the brand spanking new release, but we have two others from our brand new release, which is our iron fence pop-up. So that's another one where you can use it flat, makes a great decorator die, but then it also makes this cool arching fence. You can see it here used for Halloween, decorated with that Happy Halloween. It comes with the birds. But then you can also get a little bit smaller version of those birds in the Halloween elements. So everything kind of coordinates together, which is nice. Here's another haunted house. Yeah, using the Haunted Tiny House add-ons. And yes, so the iron fence is in there. Now that iron fence, of course, you're going to use that year round. So it's going to go right past Halloween and into other, let me see if I can find some more iron fences here. Here's one. So here's a year-round iron fence. So it just makes a really pretty arching fence. So it really can be used year-round. Here's one done for holiday. Yep, so that one's in the sale. The iron fence pop-up is in the sale. Okay, another new die we have is the Character Add-Ons 1. So that's a brand new die set, and it is included in the special. It is an add-on, so that means there's always a foundational die requirement. So in this case, this adds on to the Bitty Ball pop-up, and then you can make a Dracula or a pumpkin head or a jack-o'-lantern, or you could leave the jack-o'-lantern face off and just make pumpkins if you wanted to. Okay, with my remaining time, I thought I would put together a haunted house pop-up card. So with our dies, you choose your card size, and for the tiny house, it will fit in a pretty small card. This one's actually just a 4 1/4 inch square card. But, you know, a common size that people like to make are A2 size cards, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so that's what I'll make today. And then I've done a little work ahead of time, just because we don't have a ton of time here in the demonstration. So what I did is I decorated the front of the card using that Halloween scene die set. So that's where the tree and the graveyard and the bat came from for the front of the card. And then our new Happy Halloween. So both of those items are in the sale as well. So I've got the Happy Halloween with the shadow here on the front. Okay, and then inside just pattern papers as a base. Okay, then let's talk about the other two dies I'm going to need. So I'm using the Tiny House pop-up, which is the foundational die that I need to use any of the Tiny House add-ons. And then the Haunted Tiny House add-ons is what I'm using to turn it into a haunted house. So from this die set, I'm actually only going to use 3 pieces for today's card. The house itself, which actually cuts the house and the roof support. So I've cut that already. I just cut it out of a gray cardstock. And then there is a, oh, you can't see it on here. Oh, no, it's right there. The chimney die. So the chimney die that comes out of the Tiny House add-on has an optional emboss feature. So if you run it through with an embossing sandwich, you'll get a brick texture on it. And it has a little score line so that that tapered tab can fold under and mount it to the top of the house. Okay, then what I like to do on the house itself is work the folds. So there's 4 folds here, 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 and here to make the house itself. And then there's the ones that fold the tabs under, and those are what, you know, connected to the card, and this is what connects it to itself. But I think it's better to decorate it first. Okay, and then the other die I'm going to use out of the tiny house is actually the roof die. And there's a fun feature of that die in that it is a stamping die. So it has an extra layer in it with a special coating on it that will allow you to add ink to it and use it as a stamp. So that is optional. If you do not ink it up, it'll just press the stamp layer into the piece. But if you add ink to it before die cutting, then as you run it through your machine, it's going to die cut, it's going to stamp, and it's going to score it all at the same time. So that's kind of a nice little time saver. And it gives you a cool shingle pattern. So let's take a look at that. Isn't that neat? Okay, so there's my roof of my tiny house, and I'll just fold that on the score line in the middle. Okay, I do think it's easier to decorate the house before you install it in the card. So this first panel here with the peak is the front of the house for a side fold card. So that's where I'm going to put my door and my door frame. So I'll put my door frame on first and then my door. And those ones I just added some score tape to the back of the cardstock before die cutting so that they would be stickers. And that's just, you know, optional, but an easy way to use like little small pieces like this when you're going to be sticking them down everywhere. Then you can just, you know, that window frame is now a sticker. And then the die set also includes, grab my quick stick here to pick this up, these little window backers. And the windows and the window backers and the door frame for the Haunted Tiny House add-ons are meant to be wider at the top than the bottom. So they're basically kind of a little more ominous that way. I guess I like to think of it that way. So, you know, it's always up to you how you decorate, but the artist, I guess, interpretation was to have the wider part at the top. And then there is a die that will cut all 8 shutters that you need. And I think what makes it look particularly decrepit and broken down is if you have your shutters kind of, you know, crooked. Okay, so then I'm going to add, just like I did there, window, window backer, and shutters to these 3 sides. Okay, here we go. I've got the window and the shutters on all 4 sides. And it also is kind of fun to have the shutters actually closed on some of the windows. You know, you can kind of just have fun with that, however you want to do it. Okay, so then there are other little pieces that can go on. You know, there's a little ghost out of the set that looks kind of cool. Maybe coming out of the front of the house. And there's some boards to board up the door. So those come in the tiny house add-ons. I've used the score tape on those as well. And then I think I'm going to use my other 2 boards that I cut as like kind of stepping stones in front of the house. So I think I'll decide where maybe spider webs and spiders and stuff go after I put it together. Okay, so I've got the basic decor done. So now what I want to do is use this tapered tab here to connect one side of the house to the other. And I think it's easiest to fold that down so that the, you know, glue side is up, and then fold this side down. And then I can press it into that adhesive, and while also sort of making sure that I get it straight. Okay, and then I always think with the house, it's a good idea to, you know, fold it in both directions. Just make sure that it's real comfortable folding down either way. Then in the flat position, see, you've got the 2 peaks of the roof here, and the roof support has these tapered tabs on the side, which I like to work in both directions. And those are meant to span right between the peaks of the house. So see, this is the edge of there's the point of the roof right there. So what you can do is in the flat position, you can line up, you know, one tab with the peak of the roof. So I'm going to put my adhesive on top of that tapered tab right there. And then I'm going to take this point of the roof right up to it like this. Okay. See how it just fits in there perfectly. And then in the flat position, I can attach this tab to this roof peak, but whereas this one I put the adhesive on the front, we'll see, notice on this one, I need to put the adhesive on the back here so that it can attach right there. So don't put your adhesive on your tabs first, do them one at a time. That way you can figure out which side gets the adhesive. Okay, and then see what that'll do is it'll span that little roof support across the house. And once again, I think it's a good idea to fold it both directions. Make sure that it's, you know, has good, you know, good operation. Okay, and then these little tabs fold down to support the roof. And what I like to do is take the front one, if I'm looking at the front of the house, the front one to the right and the back one to the left. And then that is going to get some adhesive on those 2 tabs. Okay, I don't think it's easy to do this. I think it's easier to flatten this down, fold that tab to the back, open up the roof, and just get it right into the fold of the roof. Okay, so basically I'm sticking that back tab down so that the roof line is going to go right across here, and then this one will attach to this side, so like that. Okay, and then once it's on there, see, you can fold it flat in both directions, make sure that it's operating really well. Okay, the flat position for the roof, the house, is actually when you fold it flat and both the bottom tabs line up over the top of each other. So if they are side by side, that is not correct. You want them to be over the top of each other. And then that's what's going to attach inside the card. So it's this edge right here that goes along the fold of the card. So you're kind of putting the house in diagonally. And it's these tabs that get attached. And you can go anywhere along the fold, but obviously you want to put that in a spot where it stays in the card when the card is closed. So the furthest back I could go would be just until this point gets to the edge of the card. And you know, that's just personal preference. I like to have it a little bit further back so I have room for the fence in the front, but I'm going to add adhesive to that tapered tab. And you know what? You do want the whole thing attached. So I'm even going to spread my glue out a little bit with my finger so I have good glue everywhere. And then I'm just going to choose a spot. I'm going to lift my left side of my card up a little bit so that I know I'm not crossing it. That's one of my favorite ways to line up a tab, is fold this up and then just make sure it's right up next to it. Okay, and it's the bottom one that I've glued down. So this one right here now needs glue on top. Okay, once again, kind of spread that out with my finger a little bit and then close the card against it. Okay, and I gotta be a little patient because I'm using glue. And sometimes the first time I open it, I'll even just kind of reach in and help it open up fully flat so that it, you know, so that the tabs don't pop off. You can always reach under the house and give them a good press right here. Or if you had something like a bone folder or something, you could go in there and, you know, make sure the tabs are attached really well under the house. But there it is. There's your cute little house. Now, one thing that helps it close is this corner and this corner right here. They need to hit the card and fold down like this. And so you can kind of hear how they sometimes will protest and say, oh, maybe I want to flip out like this. I like to take like just a little bone folder or maybe a popsicle stick or something, and against my finger, man, just give that little corner a slight curl down. And same thing with this one. Because what's nice about that is that then it knows that when it hits the card, it's just supposed to slide down closed. So it'll help a little bit with operation to do that. Okay, then the last thing I'm going to do before the rest of my decorating is I'm going to add that fun fence that comes in the set to the back of the house. So adhesive out on the house or end of the fence like this. Then I'm just going to, with it open, choose a spot there where it's coming out from the side of the fence, or side of the house, sorry, like that, but just kind of straight along the ground. Okay, and then that will, I want to give that a second to dry. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to choose a spot for my tree. Now I'm seeing an issue. I'm seeing an issue already. So this is my spooky tree from the Halloween scene. I don't want to be too far in like this. It's not that it won't pop up, it's that it'll get tangled in the roof. It really does need to be further out on the fence so that it's not a catch point. So what that means is I need to shorten that tree so that I can keep it in the card, or I have to be willing to prune some branches. I'm okay with losing a couple branches, so I'm going to trim a couple down and then look out here and say, okay, I can put it right here behind the third fence post if I take a little bit off the bottom, like that. Okay, then I can lay it down like this, figure out a spot that's good. And then I think what I'm going to do is add my adhesive right here on the back of that third fence post, set my tree down. Yeah, it'll be fine. And then just lift it up and press it to the adhesive. Okay, I finished up the decorations, a spider web on the side of the house, another one in the tree, a little jack-o'-lantern on the fence, jack-o'-lantern over here. This is just a circle die, just as a place to be able to write my personal greeting. And then a couple boards in front of the house, loose shingles on the roof. And then on the bat, I did it back to back since it was the mirror card that was white on the other side. And that is just a standard A2 size card, so I can mail that in a regular old envelope. Remember, we have that special going on our website, 20% off all dies in our fall and Halloween category from September 11th through the 18th, 2021. Thanks for watching.